Oh, Oklahoma, where the wind comes whipping down the plain and blows half the state away half the time. When Hurricane Katrina ripped through New Orleans, the fundamentalist Christian preachers ascribed that to the fact that New Orleans had permitted a gay parade. When Hurricane Sandy came through New York and New Jersey, those same bunch of blowbags decided that that was because of America's general acceptance of gay marriage. Seems like anytime something happens in this country that these fundamentalists don't agree with, they think God sends some kind of catastrophic weather condition to punish us. Recently, we had some giant tornadoes, some of the biggest ever recorded, ripped through God-fearing, Bible-thumping, Republican-voting Oklahoma. I haven't heard a peep out of these blowbags about what that might mean, but by their own logic, if faggotry produces bad weather, I suppose bad weather must mean that faggotry is going on. Must be a whole lot of it going on in Oklahoma from the way they're getting treated by their God. Of course, I don't believe any of this. I think it's all nonsense. And for those of you who do believe this, I would point to Matthew 7, 15, and 16. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are raving wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. And if you got some pastor up there preaching hate and preaching judgment and damnation, I tell you, I think if I were you, I would hurry on out and find myself another church. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in the God of the universe, and I sure don't believe in a God of history. The idea that God meddles in the affairs of men, punishing the wicked and rewarding the righteous, it just doesn't hold up. I mean, it's absurd. It's one of the main ideas that choked me out of religion in the first place. I thought it was ridiculous back when I was 14 years old, and anything that's happened since has done nothing but reinforce that opinion. Recently, there was after the Japanese tsunami, there was a woman on YouTube who made a video, and she was all excited. She had prayed to God for a sign of His power, and He had responded to her prayer by sending a tidal wave to kill over 15,000 people and make God knows how much damage. I mean, in the billions. The whole idea of this thing, I mean, at first I thought it was sick. And then I thought it was maybe just a very well carried out joke, a satire. But, after viewing the video 2 or 3 times, I realized, she had that kind of vacant 1,000-yard stare that so many religious nut jobs have. She probably believed every word of it. And, think about it. So here he is, the God of the universe. He takes a moment out of his busy, busy day running things to listen to this poor schmuck's doubting prayer. And he answers it by flick of the finger, he kills 15,000 people. Probably some of which were actually good God-fearing Christians. The whole thing it's just twisted. I truly feel sorry for the people of Moore and the other towns in Oklahoma who suffered this recent disaster. I'm thankful that I don't live in Oklahoma for a lot of reasons. Maybe something good will come out of this. Maybe the good people of Oklahoma will be prompted to stop for a minute and reconsider their political and religious beliefs. A lot of these people have spent the last 4 or 5 years doing everything in their power to deconstruct and hamstring the government. The same government that they will now go to and depend on to help them get their lives back in order. They're going to be lining up for, government handouts. They're going to be struggling to get a place in those evil FEMA camps that they have been blowing on about, how they're all just, concentration and re-education camps for the New World Order. Now, they're actually going to be the place to keep you out of the rain in a couple of weeks. At a minimum, I hope they recognize the irony and the hypocrisy of what they're doing and mend their ways. I hope they realize that there is a place for big government, that there is a place for a stout social safety net being in place so that things go horribly wrong, people are not just destroyed, that they have a second chance to pick themselves up and get going again. At a minimum, let's hope that the people of Oklahoma realize the need for more government regulations. Jesus, a building permit in Oklahoma ought to have a requirement that every new house have a basement or a hardened tornado shelter. That's part of the price of building a house in Oklahoma. If those kind of regulations were in place, we, the taxpayers of the United States, would not have to be bailing your butts out. Republicans are all about personal responsibility. Well, Oklahoma citizens, take some personal responsibility. Protect yourself from hurricanes. Don't build flimsy wood frame houses. Don't live in flimsy trailers. Or maybe the smartest thing would just be to move out of Oklahoma altogether. These tornadoes have been ripping the place apart since the buffalo ran around there, and maybe that's God's way of saying, I don't want people living in Oklahoma. I want buffalo out here. Just a thought. It's easy to despise the poor, the insane, the criminal, whoever, when you have a nice house and a job and a car and a beautiful wife and 3 or 4 wonderful kids and a dog named Fluffy. It's quite another thing when a tornado comes along and reduces your life to kindling wood in about 10 seconds. I hope, out of all this horror and misery, I hope the people of Oklahoma come to realize this and maybe develop a little empathy for people who have it worse off than they do. And after all, maybe that was God's plan in the beginning. The whole point of the whole exercise was to teach Republicans to have a little bit of sympathy for those who have less, for those who are weaker than you are. Maybe this whole disaster was meant to inspire the good Christian people of Oklahoma to read their Bibles, particularly Colossians 3:12. So, as those who have been chosen of God, holy and beloved, put on a heart of compassion, kindness, humility, and gentle patience. Thank you all for watching. Good luck, Oklahoma. Bye.